saying 10. I mean, even though we stand alone, we stand together.
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for landing. Fasten your seatbelts. Thank you for flying Air Force Airlines. Oh, me. Call me the captain. Just blaze.
They say a family that prays together stays together, and one that walks apart just falls apart. So together we stand, divided we fall, united we form Voltron and take on all. Let's move, yes. The birds left the nest. I'm all grown up, I gotta fly with the rest. Best of the best is what we strive to be.
You're watching Unpackaged Goods. I'm your host, Jonathan Deeter. Welcome back. So we're back from Sayulita, Mexico. We had the best time celebrating Kev Dog and Matt. It was really fun. 26 or 27 of us all down in a little surf town. The food was incredible. I had plenty of al pastor tacos, quesadillas. It was just good friend time. Some of these people I've known since preschool, so 3-4 years old. And it was fun because one of the grooms that we were celebrating, he has an older brother and a younger brother that I grew up with. And so just to get to spend time with people who I've been friends with for 25 plus years is pretty special, and really makes you realize how unique those relationships are, and to nurture them and to invest in them. And so we had the best time. We really did. So I'm trying to think any funny stories. Not for the pod. But it's much earlier in the day. You can see by the light. We're getting an earlier start. It's Tuesday afternoon. I'm going to meet with one of my friends later who's launching or wanting to launch a brand. So really excited to talk to him. But the newsletter was really fun to put together. So this week was another crazy one. We're going to dive into TikTok creator economy and Jake Shane joining Katjes and Kraft Heinz and their reversal on their split, which is pretty crazy. Have a big giant say, hey, actually, we're going to invest $600 million instead of separating these two brands. It's pretty nuts. And we saw some crazy growth numbers with Happy Dad. So we're going to dive into it. We'll go through it. And I think the important thing is, as I'm going through this, to make sure that I'm not just going through the news, but like digesting it for people, understanding it, putting it in context, putting it in different perspectives. So we'll start with the Jake Shane story. I think this was really the biggest headline of the week, depending on who you ask. And I think this is going to be a trend that you see for CPG companies, is they're going to start to lean on YouTubers and TikTokers and people who have these massive audiences, because they're going to be able to bring a new cohort of consumers that brand didn't have. So in this scenario, he's taking over as chief creative officer of Katjes, German candy company. So if you don't know Jake Shane, he's a TikTok creator who became famous for nimming food, basically rating and reviewing food products in a very specific, authentic way. He also has this Octopussy universe. He's really easy to like. He's cousins with Sophia Richie, which is a weird fun fact. But so this is unique because it's not just a brand partnership. He's not just slapping his face and likeliness on a bunch of products and ads. He's actually coming in and saying, like, hey, how can we take this candy brand that I really like and stand behind and make it more popular for the mainstream? And so already accomplished that on TikTok, building an audience. And so I think this is a natural brand partnership that we're going to start to see more of, where you're going to see creators that love a certain kind of food and they have a company or a brand that they've liked over the years that just hasn't innovated at all. And so keep an eye out on that for this year. I think the YouTubers and the TikTokers joining C-suite as marketing executives or some sort of function on the executive board, I think that's going to be really popular. I think you're going to see more of that. So mark my word. So this is fun. We love candy. This is really fun candy. It's bright. It's got rainbows on it. Let's just see. Oh, here, my computers. We're going to have to do one of these with the keyboard. Katjes candy. I've seen this at Happier. It's really fun. It's got characters are really cute. The pig, the unicorn. They got sour candies. Their colors are really fun. Here's a toucan, bunnies, black cat, pigs. It really looks fun. And I think he's going to be leading the U.S. business. So there's a lot of people that probably maybe recognize this candy but haven't had it. So I think being able to bridge that gap between recognition and trying it, I think is a big thing. Why they're going the creator, TikToker, YouTube route is because the built-in audience that they bring with them. Alrighty, so I think that's the thing too. With Jake, his audience trusts him. He's had years of building out this community of people who really like him, but also really trust him and his taste. And so I think that Katjes is looking at that and they're saying, hey, this is someone that we really think can amplify our brand. Let's partner with him. Let's bring him on as an executive. So Kraft Heinz said, not so fast. 600 million strategic reversal. So they were planning on separating Kraft Heinz. There's a lot of brands under there. Let's see. Kraft Heinz. Wow. Look at all these. I don't even think I can go through all of them. Here, beloved global brands, Kraft brands. So you have Oscar Mayer, Ore-Ida, Mac and Cheese, Classico, Velveeta, Smart Ones, ABC, Capri Sun, Waddy's, Kool-Aid, Weight Watchers, Heinz, Jell-O, Philadelphia Cream Cheese, Golden Circle, Lunchables, Woodleyski's, Maxwell House, Grey Poupon, Master, Honig, and Quero. So a ton of brands that you recognize. And this is pretty crazy. So Steve Cahillane, he just became the CEO of Kraft Heinz. For those of you that recognize this name, it's the same guy who is the mastermind behind the Kellanova and WG Kellogg split. And so one of the most successful corporate restructuring moves in recent history, and in just like in recent food industry history, but just in recent corporation history, period. It was a masterclass in corporate split. The split was brilliant. It separated the growth brands from the legacy brands and created value for shareholders. So now we're seeing that all over again. Everyone expected him to do the same thing at Kraft Heinz, split the company, separate the growth assets from the mature brands, unlock shareholder value through financial engineering. Instead, he said nope and announced they're investing $600 million in growth, $600 million in sales, marketing, product development. This is massive. We've been talking about this, how the big CPG corporate giants basically have two options. You can acquire companies where you can't innovate and grow, or you can double down and try to invest and keep up with the small startups and incumbents in the space. So this is massive. This is a fundamental bet that the operational excellence and brand building create more value than financial engineering. And coming from the guy that perfected the corporate split carries serious weight. It's very easy for people to say, hey, we saw what he did with Kellogg. Let's have him come in and do the same thing. I would say that's a lot of people at the company, probably. Not so fast. What a break. So here's why this matters for everyone listening. For the past decade, the playbook for legacy food companies has been cost-cutting and portfolio optimization. Cahillane is saying that playbook is dead. Instead of splitting assets, you're investing in making them better. Instead of cutting marketing spend, we're increasing it. And instead of financial engineering, do actual product and brand building. Figure out what people want. So I think this is really smart. In an era of social media, in an era of access, I think that being able to lean into what those trends are is super important. So the timing's perfect too. We're seeing authentic brands consistently outperform legacy players. Oats overnight, they're building a $200 million business. Good culture, they're revolutionizing cottage cheese. Willie Nelson is creating an 80 million cannabis beverage empire. These brands succeed because they solve real consumer problems and build genuine connections. Kraft Heinz is betting they can do the same thing with their established brands and massive distribution advantages. $600 million is real money. That's not a pilot program or a test. That's a commitment to growth over financial optimization. What I love about this move is that it validates what we've been seeing across the industry. Authentic brand building wins, consumer connection wins, product innovation wins, financial engineering and cost cutting only gets you so far. The product has to be good. It needs to somehow invoke an emotional connection with the consumer, make them feel something through taste, through touch, through sense, sight, all their senses, and make them come back for more and want to be a consumer for life. If this works, and I think it's going to change how every legacy food company approaches strategy. Instead of splitting and optimizing, they'll invest in growth. The biggest validation for this strategy, look at the companies that are winning right now. They're all focused on consumer connection and authentic problem solving, not balance sheet optimization. Kraft Heinz is betting on the future instead of managing decline. And I think that's exactly the right call. A lot of big brands behind here. And I think you're going to start to see some fun, buzzy brands that come out of these big CPG companies. Long Weekend, the freeze-dry soup with a lot of fun Asian flavors. That's actually born out of a big company, food company out of Buffalo. It's a big co-man. I'm blanking on the name, but let's see. Long Weekend Soup parent company. So, Long Weekend is a brand specializing in premium freeze-dried instant soups. It's produced by West Coast Department Food and Lifestyle Group of Sumitomo Corporations of America. Inspired by Japanese freeze-dried technique, this brand represents a U.S.-based product line and focus on convenient, high-quality, on-the-go comfort. Crazy, right? So, I think you're going to see more of that. Alrighty. I was in yoga today, and the instructor told me that I have a lot of immobility in my lower back. And I can feel it. I mean, I was on a flight for 5 hours, but I got to work on that. I do yoga a lot, but the immobility in the lower back, I got to get a massage. So we got a couple of headlines. We're going to go through them. A lot of brands that I didn't know, but this seems to be, I'm seeing a big trend in international M&A heating up, particularly Australian brands. So let's dive into it. Reliance Australian platform play. So let's shift to international M&A with Reliance's acquisition of Goodness Group in Australia. So India's Reliance Consumer Products just acquired a majority stake in Goodness Group, which owns several Australian better-for-you beverage brands. Nextba, Kombucha, Prebiotic Soda, Pace for Hydration, Bison, Protein Coconut Water, and Good Brekkie. So this might seem like just another international acquisition, but I think it's way more strategic than it appears. So first you got to look at Reliance and who they chose to buy. A portfolio of complementary brands rather than a single asset. They didn't just buy one kombucha company or one hydration brand. They bought a platform for better-for-you beverages that covers multiple categories. This is smart platform building. Instead of trying to create these brands from scratch in Australia, they're buying established distribution networks, existing consumer relationships, and proven product market fit. Here's the interesting thing. By Australia. We saw Australia olive oil recently buying up California hectares. Reliance is massive in India. They could expand anywhere, but they chose Australia as their international beachhead for better-for-you beverages. I think it's because Australia consumer preferences often predict global trends, especially in health and wellness. It's a very healthy country. They're obsessed with their wellness culture. And so Australia has a sophisticated better-for-you market with consumers willing to pay top dollar and premium prices. If you can succeed in Australia with kombucha, prebiotic sodas, protein coconut water, you can probably succeed anywhere. Australia, Reliance is essentially buying market intelligence and consumer insight along with the brands. It's genius. Plus, Australia's regulatory environment for functional beverages is more permissive than many other markets. You can make health claims and use ingredients that might not be approved elsewhere. I came across this with Soul Tonic when I met the founder. She had different versions of her product that was sold in Australia versus Japan versus the US. What this tells me about the global CPG landscape, international expansion through premium brand portfolio acquisition is becoming the preferred strategy over organic brand building. When you buy established brands, you get distribution, consumer relationships, regulatory approvals, and market knowledge. Building from scratch takes years and massive investment with uncertain outcomes. Reliance is betting that better-for-you positioning travels globally and that Australian brands with proven success can scale internationally through their distribution networks. I think they're right. The better-for-you trend is global and the authentic local brands often perform better than corporate extensions. I think this is really true. If you look at wellness hubs throughout the states, Venice Beach, Austin, Texas, New York City, these little towns, not little, but these towns where cultures are so strong and products are coming out of these cultures because of just natural evolutions of health problems and solutions for those problems. Australia is such a wellness-focused market that I think that India's access to this market through buying established brands makes a lot of sense. International M&A has been really hot this year, and I think it's going to continue to be really hot. You buy established brands, you get distribution networks, you get consumer relationships, you get regulatory approvals, and market knowledge. It saves you a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of the unknown. Well, it's good to be recording this earlier because doing this at 10:30 at night just isn't sustainable. So this company responded to my LinkedIn post, which is cool. So Cambiotics, and they are a supplement that looks to remove forever chemicals from your body. They're probiotics that accomplish this. So this Danish startup just raised 4 million euro from the Collaborative Fund for a probiotic supplement that's specifically designed to help your body flush forever chemicals. PFAs, all those fun stuff that we talked about a month or so ago, the turn of the year when we had Maine, Connecticut, Minnesota, California, all coming out with their own state regulations on PFA and banning forever chemicals, the stuff that makes your pans non-stick. They're in pretty much everything inside your house. So this is a supplement designed to flush your body of those things, which is wild. We're going to try it. So when I first read this, I thought it sounded like science fiction. But the more I researched it, the more I realized this is exactly the kind of authentic problem solving that creates new categories. We're seeing this with states now having their own regulation and pretty much trying to ban it at a federal level. So how else now do we create categories and products around this? Well, you've been consuming these PFAs for as long as you've lived. For me, that's 31 years. So there's got to be now something that helps me get rid of those. Wow, it's so cool. I can't wait to try it. I hope they send me some or I'll order it. Like I was saying, forever chemicals are everywhere. They're in our water supply, our food packaging, clothing, cookware. They accumulate in our bodies over decades, and they're linked to all sorts of health issues. This is a real environmental contamination problem affecting millions of people. But until now, nobody was creating supplements specifically designed to address forever chemical elimination. The existing solutions are mostly detox products with vague claims and questionable science. Cambiotics is using precision-formulated probiotic strains that support your body's natural process for removing these specific contaminants. That's not wellness theater. That's targeted functional health. The Collaborative Fund backing is significant, too. They're known for investing in companies that are solving real environmental and health problems, not manufactured wellness trends. What excites me really is the intersection of environmental health and precision nutrition. As consumers become more aware of environmental contamination, they're going to demand specific solutions rather than generic wellness products. This represents a massive category creation opportunity, as we've been talking about with the GLP-1 users. Forever chemical contamination affects virtually everyone, but existing supplement companies are focused on generic detox rather than specific environmental toxin removal. So true. I think we're going to see more companies targeting specific environmental health problems through precision nutrition, microplastic removal, heavy metal isolation, air pollution protection. When the Danish government investment fund co-invests with prominent venture capital, it signals that environmental health innovation has moved from fringe science to mainstream priority. Cambiotics is essentially creating the supplement category for the climate change era. That's a massive addressable market that nobody else is serving authentically. Really fun week for celebrity partnerships. So first off, Cardi B announced Good Grow Beauty, her first own beauty brand launching spring of 2026 as part of their joint ventures with Revolve Group. I think that this makes a lot of sense. Cardi B has a huge cult-like following and has gained massive amounts of fans through her music. It's similar to what the Kardashians do with their brands. I think once you hit a certain level of stardom, I think creating brands that authentically align with you. Women's hair care is incredibly complex. And so it seems like she's probably trying to build a simpler product for her fans that she uses, that she can promote. So I think if it really is something that she uses and promotes, it's going to be super successful. Second, Ashley Graham co-founded Lucci, a Lambrusco. I love saying the word Lambrusco sparkling wine brand with Danny Epstein from Skylark. I don't think there's any relation. Maybe we'll just call him Danny from Skylark. He partnered with Food Story Brands to launch a UFC branded protein bar. This makes a ton of sense. UFC's audience consumes a lot of protein, and it's a lot of athletic-minded people, gym-forward and gym-focused people. A lot of people who are practicing UFC, so they're eating protein bars and be able to sell them at the activations. This is going to be it's a very popular brand. Built-in community. It's going to be successful. So I've been pretty critical of celebrity brands in the past because most of them are just licensing deals with manufactured connections, but these three are different. Start with, like I was saying, the UFC protein bars. This makes perfect sense. UFC's audience is obsessed with performance nutrition and fitness optimization. Protein bars are a natural fit. Plus, they partnered with Food Story Brands, who scaled Fresh Cravings to $100 million and generated over $100 million with Yellowstone products. This isn't some random co-packer situation. This is a legit co-packer. When your audience actually uses the products you're endorsing, that's authentic alignment rather than opportunistic brand extension. Ashley Graham's wine brand is interesting too. She's not just slapping her name on existing products. She co-founded the brand with industry professionals and invested in serious branding and packaging. This feels like genuine entrepreneurship. Cardi B's hair care line is the most intriguing to me because it's her first own beauty brand rather than just another collab. She's building equity rather than just taking endorsement fees. What I'm seeing across all three is a shift from transactional celebrity endorsements to authentic celebrity entrepreneurship. These aren't licensing deals. They're actual business ventures where celebrities are building long-term value. Compare this to traditional celebrity endorsements where someone gets paid to post a product they've never used. These celebrities are creating products for audiences that actually align with their personal brands. The UFC example is particularly smart because it leverages an established audience with proven purchasing behavior in the exact category they're launching. That's not celebrity marketing, that's audience monetization through relevant product creation. Here's what I think. I think as consumers become more sophisticated, they can tell the difference between authentic business ventures and manufactured partnerships. The celebrity brands that succeed are the ones that solve real problems for audiences that already trust the celebrity's expertise in that area. Look at Spider-Man, Bureau. It's so good, and he lives it. He's NA. Cardi B has credibility in beauty and personal care. Ashley Graham has credibility in lifestyle and luxury goods. UFC has credibility in performance nutrition. When celebrities stay in their lanes and create products that audiences actually want, they build sustainable businesses rather than just cashing in on temporary fame. So Happy Dad, their performance is killing it. They grew 31% during dry January. So for context, White Claw grew 3.4% in the same period and Truly declined 10.8%. How do you dominate in the month when nobody's drinking in your product category? You build a cult, not just a product, and that's what Happy Dad has. They have the built-in TikTok, YouTube audience from the Nelk Boys and all the different separate creators from those guys. Audience doesn't just drink Happy Dad. They identify with Happy Dad. They wear the merch. They follow the brand on social. They talk about it even when they're not drinking. That's the difference between having customers and having a community. Happy Dad has a community. During dry January, their community was probably talking about Happy Dad even while not drinking it. They were looking forward to February when they could drink it again. They were probably buying it to stock up post-dry January. Meanwhile, White Claw, Truly are just products sitting on the shelves. When people stop drinking, they stop thinking about those brands entirely. This validates everything we've been discussing today. Authentic connection wins, community building wins, brand personality wins. Happy Dad succeeds because they understand their audience and create genuine cultural connection. They're not trying to be everything to everyone. They're trying to be everything to their specific audience. That's the lesson for every brand listening. Stop trying to appeal to everyone and start building deep connections with the people who actually care about what you're doing. So we'll go through Twitter then. There was one really cool tweet on some news that I saw. So this guy, JT Sarafa, he's building Pop Daddy Snacks, and he tweeted, "My family and I's brand Pop Daddy Snacks has doubled in size every year and is sold in 40,000 stores across the country. One of the biggest growth levers? Licensing deals. Our first collab was with a small local brewery in Michigan. Then we used that deal to leverage bigger ones. I cold DM'd hundreds of big brands we wanted to partner with. Hey, there's a collab we just did. Would love to discuss something similar with your brand. Mostly no's, some yeses that went nowhere until it worked. We launched flavors with Frank's Red Hot, French's Mustard, and Old Bay. They've been crushing it in retail and on TikTok Shop. Here's why these licensing deals have worked so well. For people that haven't tried us yet, Pop Daddy feels new and unfamiliar. That creates hesitation when scrolling or walking down the snack aisle. But when they see a brand they already know on the bag, it makes Pop Daddy feel familiar to them, even though it's not. It feels like something they've bought before. They already know they like Frank's. They already know they like French's. So they become confident that they'll like us. That first purchase turns into a repeat customer. Borrowed trust equals faster growth. First, cultural relevance is displacing traditional business credentials. When TikTok creators become C-suite executives and legacy giants invest in growth over financial engineering, authentic consumer connection has become the ultimate competitive. Second, the most successful strategies involve doubling down rather than diversifying. Kraft Heinz choosing growth investment over corporate splits, Reliance building beverage platforms rather than single acquisitions, and Happy Dad deepening community rather than expanding demographics. Third, authentic problem solving creates new categories. Forever Chemical Probiotics, GLP-1 nutrition, environmental health supplements. When entrepreneurs address real problems that existing companies ignore, they build defensible market positions. What excites me the most about this week is that it validates authenticity over manufactured strategies. Whether that's Jake Shane's genuine candy expertise, Kraft Heinz growth focus, or Happy Dad's community building, the winners are the ones solving real problems for real people. The business world is becoming less predictable but more authentic. Traditional rules matter less. Consumer connection matters more. Financial engineering matters less. Brand building matters more. That's it for this week. So if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and share it with someone that you think would like this. Please send it to one of your colleagues, friends, parent, whoever. It means the world to me. Every comment, rating, review, it all just really makes me grateful for being able to do this and do what I love every single day and get better at what I do every single day. So that's it. We're coming up on 40 minutes. We'll chop this down to a half hour maybe, and we'll go from there. So interview with the founder of Bouscous coming up Thursday. That'll come out next week. This episode was proudly sponsored by Trophy Wife, the official finishing salt of unpackaged goods, because you are the prize and so is this salt. We out.